Each continent of the world contains one nation, one very small nation. And in this Europa Universalis IV video, it will be said nation's job to colonize and repopulate their entire continent. Anything they do beyond that, whether through diplomacy or conquest, is up to them. Question of the day. What is the superior government type in EU4 and why? I'm a big fan of monarchies, mostly just because it's less mechanics that you really have to worry about. Hordes are very strong, but theocracies also have really good idea groups. Divine is pretty good. I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below the video. And believe it or not, this is actually the political map mode that you're looking at. The keen-eyed among you are going to notice one small little dot on each continent. I'm sure I would have explained it in the intro, but we have Aztecs, Incans, Brandenburg, Kongo, Mongolia, and this little tribe down here. But if you're looking to blow off some steam after the video and also blow up some giant mechs, then I've got to recommend you check out Mech Arena, the sponsor of today's video. I played a few hours in Mech Arena since they approached me, and I found myself enjoying it quite a bit. It's a real-time 5v5 PvP arena shooter in which they start you off with a mech called Paragon for a quick and intuitive tutorial before you jump into the action. I actually quite like Paragon as it starts off quite basic, as you would expect, but it has decent base stats like HP, speed, and energy capacity, and the high energy capacity lets you blow up more stuff before you need to recharge. So it's a lot more forgiving if you have trash aim like I do. That's why I play strategy games to pay my bills, and I play shooters in my free time. Its base speed combined with its special boost ability acts as a double sprint, which allows you to keep up with most scout mechs. But if you're really looking for speed, then Killshot is your guy. This mech's ability, Melee Dash, boosts him forward and slams him into enemies, causing massive damage. He is a glass cannon though with low health, so you gotta be calculated with your moves. Games are fast and action-packed, only lasting a few minutes, with queue times that throw you into the action as quickly as possible, so you can push through challenges and collect rewards at quite a comfortable pace. There is tons of things happening in-game right now, including the new clan feature, a new free-for-all battle mode, the new nade launcher weapon, and there's also upcoming events where you can yoink some limited edition skins and gear. It's a great time to jump in so you don't miss out. And of course, bringing you the good news, Mech Arena and I have partnered up to bring you a dope promotion. And when you use my link in the description or in the pinned comment, or scan the QR code on the screen right now and sign up today on Android, iOS, or PC, you will get a Kickstarter bonus worth $15 dues, including an amateur crate, 300 A coins, and a pulse cannon 4 to get you geared up and ready for action. And if you're quick, you might be able to add me using the ID on the screen right now, and we can blow up some mechs together. So don't wait. Support companies who support content you love. Check out Mech Arena today. I also reformed the religion of Nahuatl as well as Incan, and I changed these guys to a monarchy. That way they can all colonize and they can spread their religion, and I don't have to change it to something and break the immersion, right? I also tweaked Colonize Please to make it a little bit faster, but more importantly, make it so they can only colonize provinces that they border. So that way we don't have Brandenburg like jumping across the Atlantic and just taking a bunch of land and cutting off the other person. It gives everybody equal footing to colonize all the land around them, and then when they start bordering each other, they will start having some issues. Also, contentious topic, I gave everybody governing capacity, that way they can core up all their land and get as strong as possible. But by now, I'm sure you guys know the drill. Speed 5, unpause. And look how fast it goes. Oh my gosh, it's so fast. Zoomed in here on Brandenburg, you can see just how quickly they are allowed to colonize. Now keep in mind, they have to pay to core all this up. They don't get admin mana for free, so they have to core up everything that they take. Otherwise, they're going to have a crazy amount of overextension. I did also remove all the vestigial cores that they would have. That way they don't just get like separatist rebels all the time once they get big. This will allow them to kind of focus more on their enemies rather on internal stuff. In less than 5 years in, Aztec has colonized most of Mexico. Inca has got all of Peru, and I guess they formed because they were Cusco, but now they're Inca. Kongo has colonized Congo. In Palawa, the Australian natives have colonized most of, what is this, New South Wales, I think. This is going to go really quickly. I imagine that they're all going to be touching up borders and finishing up colonization within like 100 years or so, if not way less than that. So let's let some time go by and kind of see what direction these guys decide to go. Oh, it turns out that they actually don't get overextension if they colonized it, so disregard that. Brandenburg has no overextension, but yeah, they're having a hard time coring up a lot of the land. Though they are trying to full core everything since they have the governing capacity. Safe to say they're probably not going to get a very good job done when it comes to admin tech. But once they start colonizing and filling in everything, then they'll be able to, because they won't have to be coring everything up. But it's going to take some time. Now, poor Palawa has finished up their colonization of Australia. They can't get across the sea, so these guys are stuck here. To be honest, a lot of these islands are actually going to go without, but I did make it so the nations are more likely to take exploration ideas or expansion ideas, and they will get filled in eventually. Meanwhile, Mongolia pushing into northern China and Korea, and Brandenburg pushes all the way out into the lowlands and southern Scandinavia. Congo absolutely massive, all the way from Benin over to Zimbabwe, I think that is. Inca pushing south into this useless land down here. You guys reckon that they're going to take the Falklands? It'd be pretty cool if they did, right? And the Aztecs all the way up into Texas and Louisiana, pushing down past Nicaragua, I think, into that area over there. And we do have our first war here, Aztecs attacking Inca, and it's actually a trade war of all things because, you know, I'm sure that juicy trade income is very, very lucrative for them. Either way, they don't even border each other, but it does look like the Aztecs are pushing into Colombia and Panama, so hard to say. Aztecs are rocking a cool 55,000 men, but Inca has the leg up on them. They also have more manpower, so it's honestly anybody's game. I think Inca is probably going to pull out, though. 23 years in, Brandenburg is well out in front. All that development in Europe, that is no surprise. With Mongolia just under 1,000, with Aztecs right behind them. Congo, Inca, and then Palawa. But like I said, Palawa is probably going to be fine because they're going to develop up a lot of their land, and then they're going to start colonizing once they get idea groups. So I think they will catch up. I wouldn't count them out yet. Oh, yo, these guys are trying to death war Inca with 141,000 men. Aztecs had like 130, and they just lost the battle. So their force limit is picking up quite a bit here. You can see they are built 3 times over their force limit, and they are losing 150 ducats per month. I don't know how the AI is trying to justify this, but yeah, they're losing an extra 138 ducats per month for being over their limit. That's pretty nuts. And 30 years in, Congo didn't really go much into the Sahel, but they have, however, snaked up through Zanzibar into the Horn of Africa, getting most of that development over there. And Mongolia has finished up Korea and is now getting most of China all the way along the coast down into Canton. But with free reign over here in Europe, Brandenburg taking up the northern France, and then all the way over into St. Petersburg, taking up the majority of northern Germany as well. They're probably going to be quite formidable. And this right here is 3 provinces that were taken by Inca from the Aztecs. Meanwhile, Aztecs pushing well up just past the parallel, couple of provinces in Canada, otherwise perfect borders for the most part. Meanwhile, Inca has pushed well past Guyana into Brazil and has gotten the rest of the interior of South America. Now they just need to fill in Amazonia and Brazil. Brandenburg has pushed over into Iberia, and they are collecting all the coasts of the Norselands up here. Congo has collected Ethiopia, and they have actually passed over into Arabia, so we finally have a transcontinental nation. And like I had said, Palawa is probably going to end up getting exploration ideas, and they did. So they have pushed over into Papua or New Guinea or whatever this area is called. I keep getting corrected on what I call it, but here they are colonizing. They've also finished up New Zealand. So their development is going to grow, and they will be unchecked over here. And remember, they have their extra colonists as well as the one from their idea group. So they are actually going to do quite well, I'm pretty sure. But, you know, I've been wrong before, just a couple times. And meanwhile, Mongolia continues to thrive over here in China. They're going to be very impressive. They may actually even form the Mongol Empire. I don't know if the AI can do that, though. And now that Inca has finished up colonizing South America, they have taken exploration. They have colonized Los Malvinas as well as Georgia. And it's only a matter of time before they probably tried getting over into Africa, steer some of that trade over their way. All the while, the Aztecs are making their way up north, and they're probably going to get most of North America, though Inca is trying to get over here into Baja California, so I'm sure that will be a point of contention for them. 1500, Brandenburg well out in front, double anybody's development, but Congo, Mongolia neck and neck. Meanwhile, Inca and Aztec are also neck and neck, and Palawa still doing okay over there. Palawa has colonized the Moluccas and the Philippines, and they've also pushed well past Java, getting all the development over there. They're going to keep developing it, so I definitely have them as my sleeper pick, but we'll see how things go. Once they run into Mongolia up here, it might be a little complicated for them, especially considering that Mongolia only needs like 4 or 5 more provinces to form the Great Yuan, and Yuan has really, really powerful national ideas. And then after that, they're probably going to push for the Mongol Empire, but that one is going to be, I would be blown away if they form the Mongol Empire. Also, I'm really not sure if I should force the Reformation through. I very well could. I could just pop the event, but then obviously Brandenburg is just going to form Prussia. And, as much as and I'm sure you guys love to see Prussia in the game, adding it manually when it's supposed to be kind of them doing their own thing, I feel like is against the spirit of it. But I don't know. Leave a comment down below if you guys have any sort of input, if you appreciate when I, would change stuff like this, where it's like, obviously it's not going to happen because Brandenburg is the only one who can possibly push for the Reformation to happen via events. Let me know if you guys have an issue with me, forcing through that, if I think it would be more interesting for you. Obviously, that would be me using my judgment, but, I'm curious what you guys want to see. And for the Horde, Mongolia has declared a conquest war on Palawa. It's actually just like the tribal conquest. They have some claims over here on Taiwan, as well as in the northern Philippines. Really hard to say how things are going to go, though. Mongolia, with their 250,000 troops, probably going to dominate if I had to guess. Meanwhile, Inca has taken over all of California and Cascadia, and Aztecs don't really seem to be contesting it. Can't really blame them. Probably didn't want to govern these people over here. And that is a joke, before you get offended, because anytime I ever make jokes, especially political ones, people lose their mind. Also, kind of a funny little side note, Inca had this province and then nobody had this, but now Inca has all of this and then Aztecs have that. So I don't know how that happened, but it did happen. Also, Funge has popped out and they do get the Colonize Please buff. So it looks like Congo has a little bit of competition, though it looks like Funge also has a province over here, but they're not colonizing. They're just focusing on the Sahel over here. Very funny though. I like to see that. But speaking of expansion, it does look like Congo has pushed up into Mesopotamia and into Anatolia, and they have gotten all the way over to Cyrenaica and Egypt. So they're going to be a very, very contentious area. It's going to cause some conflicts. And I'm pretty sure that Paradox Spaghetti Code strikes again, because I checked a couple of years ago and Mongolia could form Great Yuan and they still haven't. So I'm going to click the button for them. I hope that you guys don't mind that. I cannot stand the fact that the AI just won't click a button because there's like a is AI equals no in the code for like literally no reason. There's no reason that they should not be allowed to form that. Like a few videos ago, we had an Italy that conquered all this land, like all of that, and they couldn't form the Roman Empire just because the code said you're not allowed to form it if you're an AI. Like, what is that, man? Come on, Paradox. Paradox, please. But the main reason I wanted them to form Yuan is because they get manpower and cavalry combat ability. They have core creation cost and admin efficiency in their ideas. That is like so broken. That is wild. Why would they do that? Paradox. And they also get governing capacity. That doesn't matter for the purposes of this playthrough, but Yuan is like crazy strong. If you can form Yuan, you have to do a campaign with them. They are so much fun. And a Fulo has popped out this time, but Funge jumped on them with no hesitation. They are likely going to annex them in their entirety, but it is the AI, so maybe they just take like one province and then leave them free to colonize all of this up here. We'll see how things go. Meanwhile, Brandenburg continues to fill in Iberia, France, all of Italy over, just tracing the coastline over into Greece. Constantinople is now theirs. They also have a decent border over here with Congo, but not touching just yet. But soon they will be touching tips. As will Yuan and Congo. They are very close, like 4 or 5 provinces away from touching tips as well. And I think I've seen this one before. And at this point, I think I take it back about Palawa being the guy who's my sleeper pick. I think that they are going to get pushed back into Oceania and they're not going to be allowed to play the game. And I believe that we have our first war for the Brandenburgers. They are trying to push across the straits into northern Africa, conquering Funge, who did annex this Fulo, I believe it was, over here. And now it looks like Brandenburg is looking for their chance. But you're going to see Brandenburg has quite a few of territorial cores. They are struggling to core this all up, and they are actually still on admin tech 3. It's going to hold them back, though. They're basically getting to the point now where they're not going to have much more, expansion opportunities. Most of this land over here is pretty low development, and once them and Yuan touch up, as well as Congo, they're going to finally be able to focus on admin, and they'll be able to take that tech for super, super cheap. So maybe I should have made it so they get cores cheaper on territory like this. I don't really know, but I'm always open to suggestions. And the Yuan conquest of Congo is upon us. You can see all of those claims that Yuan gets from their very powerful mission tree. Ilkhanate about to be reclaimed for the glory of the Khan. At least maybe, we'll see. They are destroying them. They're occupying a ton of their land. And it doesn't look like Congo can really compete with the hordes. Meanwhile, exploration ideas paying off for Yuan. They have made their way over into various parts of India and Malaysia. And a few notable border changes, Aztecs pushing down into Panama, as well as that part over there. What is that, northern Venezuela or something along those lines? Aztecs are starting to eclipse the Inca. As a matter of fact, they actually have 700 more development than they do. So yeah, Aztecs have definitely eclipsed the Inca, though. Funnily enough, Palawa has actually passed Inca all of that juicy development in Indonesia. Still, Brandenburg, almost 2,000 development out in front of Yuan, for now. I think that the lack of ideas is going to really hurt Brandenburg once Yuan comes a-knocking. I have no idea what happened here, but Palawa is now up here in Southeast Asia in Tibet, and Australia, an independent nation, controls New Guinea, Australia, and New Zealand, as well as all these islands over here all the way to Hawaii. I have absolutely no idea how this happened. Regardless, they only have 537 development, so probably not going to be too competitive. In fact, Palawa may even try to take their land back. I would not be surprised about that. Now, I don't really know why, but the AI is absolutely just avoiding each other. Congo, Brandenburg, and Yuan will not colonize this corridor here, and they do not want to border each other. Not like Yuan and Palawa, though. Yuan just keeps on declaring war and then stealing a bunch of land and then, you know, letting the truce time out and then attacking them and taking more land. Same goes with Aztecs. They are beating up Inca at this time. They keep on taking more and more land. You can see they're all the way into California and then all the way into Colombia as well. So, yeah. Aztec wins on North-South America. But still, Brandenburg way out in front, still on Admin Tech 3. But yeah, I think that Yuan is going to end up becoming, I think that they're going to eclipse them, especially with their national ideas. But I don't know, because there's quite a bit of actually reform progress, and it is going up slowly, but it is still going up. We might see a Protestant Reformation, and if they do, Brandenburg will 100% form Prussia, and I think Prussia could probably beat up on Yuan, but we'll see. Here we go. And this is what I'm talking about. We've let some time go by. Brandenburg has filled in over here, and Yuan has filled in over here. India is completely filled in, and for the most part, I think most colonies have finished up, except for the British Isles are still a desolate wasteland, and you know, that's the thing. It just rains there all the time, so why would you even want to live there? Also, Iceland is not a thing. Also, did you guys know where Iceland got its name? Now, I was playing CK3 the other day, and this is totally scientific. It was called Island. And I think Iceland is a butchering of the Norwegian pronunciation of island. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Leave a comment if you guys actually know that. I'm curious. Regardless, Brandenburg has attacked Funge, who magically became guaranteed by the Congo, and Congo is defending them. Aztecs allied to Brandenburg. Aztecs actually have Madagascar, which is hilarious. Congo is also allied to Palawa, trying to prevent them from getting eaten up by Yuan, but all it means is that Yuan will then beat up on Congo as well as Palawa every time they go to war, because Palawa, they're gone. They are not going to make it happen. And I haven't showed the religious map mode yet, but since the world is mostly colonized, let's take a look. You got Nahuatl and then Inti over here, and then Inti in South America, though Nahuatl is certainly winning the war as they have pushed all the way down into South America. The way of the feet all the way in Africa, but some Coptic and some Sunni over here, which is weird because Funge was Coptic. I don't know why they converted, but they did. As I've shown, Reform Desire is happening, but very slowly. It's 1609, and Europe is still very much Catholic. But it looks like Tengri is no longer a thing, and Yuan converted to Buddhism actually upon forming Yuan. However, they do still keep the steppe nomad, and they actually have the barbaric despoilers, so they get way more raising power. So assuming the AI actually raises, they are getting a ton of mana income. And then meanwhile, we got these El Chiringa or whatever for Australia and parts of Southeast Asia and India. Yeah, I didn't look at this one. So being so unbalanced on tech, Brandenburg is having quite a bit of corruption, gaining 0.5 per year from that. And because the AI is completely dumb, it will not root out the corruption, even though it can afford it. So if I put that up, you can see when I unpause, they will instantly lower it. And that means they're just going to have to deal with this corruption until they are able to catch up on tech. And they're not going to be doing that anytime soon because they still have a ton of land that they need to be coring up. So we'll see. So you will notice that Brandenburg has caught up because they went on to form Germany, which means Admin Tech 20. So clearly they are doing okay. That corruption didn't end up taking them down, apparently. It's kind of crazy to think about. But then Yuan and Congo, both neck and neck with about 56 and 5,200 development apiece. Aztecs did okay, 4,400, and then Palawa actually passed Inca, which I think is crazy. And of course, the legendary Fulo, some say still exists to this day. So obviously Aztec Greenland is cool, Aztec North Atlantic Islands is cool, but I think Aztec Britain, Bornholm, and Gotland are my favorite. And of course Aztec East Africa. Yeah, that makes sense. Regardless, the Aztecs pushed Inca out of North America except for Alaska, and then Inca actually got pushed out of Colombia, Venezuela, and parts of Guyana as well. So yeah, safe to say they ended up just petering out. Australia conquered a bit of Borneo, northern Philippines, and Taiwan, but aside from that, they didn't grow at all. And, you know, that's just a thing. I kind of figured usually when you have island nations, they just don't really do a whole lot. Palawa, if they wouldn't have lost Australia, I don't know what that split was, whether it was an event or what. But if they wouldn't have lost Australia, they would be doing a lot better because that's quite the power base. Reformation never spawned, but Nahuatl, Great Britain, is base. Aside from that, the religious map mode looks almost exactly what it would have last time I showed you guys. And the culture map mode is basically just going to show what their cultures are. So we have Sino-Altaic, Palawa, and then we also have Congolese as well as Nubian, Saxon, and then Quechua, or whatever that one is. But these borders are boring. I want to see some really interesting stuff. Like, yeah, it's cool that Congo has land in Italy, but it could be a lot cooler. So let's go a couple hundred years and see where things go. And so it's a little bit after 2100. I let a couple hundred years go, and quite a few things have changed. Namely, the map is a lot less red. Yuan reduced all the way down to 413 development, beating out Inca with 176. The clear winners were both Germany and the Aztecs, but Congo definitely did respectable, even though they are currently getting their cheeks clapped by the Germans. Germany finishes the game, the military hegemon, working on stacking it up. They actually don't have a big enough army. They need to be bigger than another nation. But anyways, they have it. And then the Aztecs are the economic hegemon. No surprise, there's probably a lot of trade over there. 1,400 development almost for Germany, with Aztecs at 9,000. So 4,000 development difference. And then Palawa with the comeback of the century. They were my pocket pick, and they did okay, finishing third. I will say that is respectable. I will give them that. Congo finishes with a very low amount of dev. I think Germany took quite a bit of their dev over here, but no, actually, no, it's just Africa and Arabia, and yeah, it's all desert. Well, not all of it, but you know, a lot of it. Regardless, Australia finishes with over 2,000 development, which I think is quite respectable. They were losing quite hard to Palawa, but it looks like they're actually in the process of taking back some of their land. The religious map mode hardly changed at all. Actually, it looks like they didn't convert any of the Inti provinces in South America. But I do have to say the Nahuatl British Isles is probably my favorite thing I've seen today. Culture map mode looks the same as well, so no changes there. But the development map mode definitely has some interesting stuff worth noting. Look at Australia, man, an absolute just utopia. 30-some development in almost every single province down here. That's very nice. 40 down here? What the heck, man? My Tassie boys down here in the jungle. 53 development. That is wild. 38, 39. So China's doing okay, but doesn't look any super different from what you would expect in a vanilla game. A couple of provinces over here that are doing quite well. Obviously, our coal provinces. No surprise there. The coal provinces are always overdeved. And then you just have Scandinavia. They had to take all the development. That way they could distribute it via social programs. New World looks weird. You either got a 32 dev province or a 3 dev province. You have to pick one. You don't get both. Well, I guess in their case, they get both, but I mean per province. Vancouver Island over here, 32 development, very respectable, considering the fact that it's just an island full of people who smoke weed all day. But then you take a look over here, and I think this is Prince Edward Isle, 3 development. So, you know, it is what it is. Though the Trailer Park Boys doing okay, 27 dev. I actually don't know exactly where the Trailer Park Boys takes place. I think it's over here in Newfoundland. I could be wrong, but I think it's over here. And no, we did not have colonialism spawn because Germany and Congo, none of those guys ever made their way over to the New World. So they were paying quite a bit for tech, but I mean, you know, there's not a whole lot to worry about. I mean, they embraced it all, no problem. Well, obviously, if we let it go that long, but either way, you know, they didn't embrace the institutions and it worked out fine for them. Well, I had fun with that one, and I hope you guys did as well. And if you did, make sure you let me know by leaving a like on the video and subscribe for more. Leave a comment down below if you have a suggestion of something you'd like to see in the future. And don't forget to check out my subreddit, my Discord, my Twitter. Those things are all linked in the description with my Patreon, or if you want early access to these videos, you can get that if you check out that link in the description. But that is all I've got for you for today. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. And until next time, stay chill.